Hey, it's Josh. It's your iFanboy mini for the day. The mini's the little version, a larger comic book show, iFanboy. And today, normally we would have your pick of the week podcast mini, but this comics came out on Thursday and that didn't work. So you're going to have that on Monday. So today, I'm going to talk about my book of the month. Ooh. The book of the month is the Treasury of 20th Century Murder, The Lindbergh Child, America's Hero and the Crime of the Century. I was having a hard time picking a book of the month. It's a big responsibility. And many men have shirked at the responsibility, but I took it on. Anyway, I couldn't think of anything, and apparently I'm not allowed to do an Alan Moore book every time. Who knew, by the way? I didn't, when I signed up for this whole thing, no one said I couldn't do that, so I was kind of disappointed. And Ron actually said to me, he said, well, what about this book? And instantly I was like, oh, true crime history book done in sort of comic book documentary style. I will check that out, and I am glad I did. This book is by a guy named Geary, and he's been doing comic strips and illustrations and children's books and even some regular comics for a long, long time. And he's done all sorts of these true crime books, and he's been doing them for a while. They were all based in Victorian murder for a while. Like I also picked up the Lincoln assassination. But this one just came out, and he's moved into the 20th century because apparently he's done all Victorian murder. It was only like 10, apparently. It's all the people that were murdered in the entire 1800s. That's not true. Whereas with a book like From Hell, that's an Alan Moore book. See how I did that? Alan Moore did a lot of research, and he came up with a theory of what he thought was the Jack the Ripper murders and the how to solve that and why it happened. But this is really just a cold presentation of the facts done in illustration style. It's almost a documentary in comic books. But for some reason, it works really well with these types of drawings, and the characters they're all real people. Charles Lindbergh was, in 1927, he flew across the Atlantic and was the biggest, most famous hero in America at the time. In the early 30s, his kid was kidnapped from the window, apparently, and there was a manhunt, and they found somebody, and they executed him, but it's never really been fully solved. There's always been a lot of open questions, and Geary basically just lays all of this stuff out, and he does like a really nice job of doing sort of caricatures of all the people involved. And while they're not photorealistic, they're not silly, so you sort of see what the people look like, but that are kind of exaggerated. This shows you what their personality might be like as well, which is one of the really cool things that cartooning can do that other things can't do. I really had a hard time putting this book down. It was so interesting to read through it for a couple of reasons. One, it's a mystery, just like, God forbid it's like the JonBenet Ramsey case, but it is something that people keep going back to, but also the extra fact that it's from the 30s and crime fighting, that's probably not the word, forensic mystery solving, was not the same as it is now, and they had to work with different things. He called the police, they showed up 40 minutes later, things like that. He was sort of living in the sort of wilds of New Jersey, if that was possible. And it was all these strange things that never quite added up when the whole thing was said and done. And that's one of the things that make this book a lot of fun. You sort of get to make the choice on your own. It does a really, really good job of presenting you with the facts in a way that you can understand. I'm sure there was lots and lots of things that he had to decide whether he was going to put in or not, in which people he was going to be involved with, because this was a huge deal. This was as big a media sensation as you would get today, but it was then, and it was sort of a simpler time for media, but there was definitely a big deal about this, and it's never been fully reconciled. I had a really fun time reading this book, and I think that if you're into true crime or anything like this is a really good book to read. And also, it's another one of those books that my favorite kind of comics are the ones that surpass people's expectations of what comic books are. It's not superheroes, it's not fiction even, it's something else. It's a Discovery Channel documentary almost, but done in illustration form, which is really neat. Get over and read my full review of the book over at ifanboy.com, and next time I have Book of the Month, I'll do an Alan Moore book, okay? I promise. Also, go to revision3.com/ifanboy to see more videos. We did one about Alan Moore, for example. I have a thing about Alan Moore. That's what I've decided. He's very good, but also Geary is very good, and this book is quite good as well. So get there, read that, and we will see you more later. Every day there's something for you. Bye.